Jeff Bezos said it 4 days ago on national television. The only thing that will solve the problem is skill. He was talking about wealth inequality. He was talking about you. And here's the thing, he's not lying, but he's telling you the wrong truth. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what that means, and you'll never hear a billionaire say skills the same way again. Meet James and Kevin. Same city, same university, same degree. Both graduated with $38,000 in student debt. Both landed jobs paying $52,000 a year. Both save $400 every month without fail. James did everything Jeff Bezos recommended. He got certifications. He took night courses. He optimized his LinkedIn. He read the books. His manager loves him. Kevin did one thing differently. 20 years later, James is more skilled, more tired, and less wealthy than when he started. That's not a motivation problem. That's not a discipline problem. That's not a skills problem. That's a system doing exactly. Jeff Bezos did not invent this idea. He inherited it. Mind the right 900. Andrew Carnegie. Carnegie was the richest man in the world. He built libraries. He gave speeches. He said, "Any young man who is industrious and thrifty can make his fortune." That year, 2 million children worked in American factories. The average work week, 72 hours. No weekends, no overtime, no sick days. Carnegie was not lying about the value of hard work. He just forgot to mention who wrote the rules of the factory, 1970. Lee Iacocca, Ford Motor Company, the harder you work, the luckier you get. That year, something quietly happened to American wages. They peaked. 1973 was the last time real wages grew in line with productivity. After that, productivity kept climbing. Wages flatlined. The harder workers worked, the more the gap grew. Iacocca called it luck. The data called it something else, 2026. Jeff Bezos. The only thing that will solve the problem is skill. This year, the average Amazon warehouse worker earns $36,000 annually. In the same year, Jeff Bezos' net worth grows by approximately $5 million per hour while he sleeps. He is not lying about skills. His company requires them. He just isn't telling you that no amount of skill gets you from $36,000 a year to $5 million an hour, because that gap isn't a skills gap, it's a rules gap. Every generation, the wealthiest man alive tells working people the problem is them, not the system, not the rules he helped write, not the gap between what labor earns and what capital earns. Carnegie said it. Let's go back to James. James is 28. He earns $52,000 a year. He saves $400 every single month. He has 47 LinkedIn recommendations. His performance reviews are excellent. He has done everything right. Year 1. James takes a project management certification. Cost $1,200. Time 4 months of evenings. His next raise, 8%. New salary, $56,160. His health insurance premium also went up. His tax bracket shifted. Net gain in take-home pay, $94 per month. James reinvests that into another course. Year 3, James applies for a mortgage. He earns enough. His credit score qualifies. The bank approves him, but home prices in his city have risen 61% in 5 years. The house he could have bought in year 1 now requires $40,000 more as a down payment. James keeps saving. He keeps taking courses. He keeps climbing. The ladder is real. But every time he gets close to the top rung, the ceiling moves. Now meet Kevin. Kevin also earns $52,000. Kevin also saves $400 a month. But Kevin asks a different question. James asks, "What skill am I missing?" Kevin asks, "What rule am I playing by?" In year 1, Kevin opens a high-yield savings account. His $400 earns 4.5% annually instead of 0.2%. Small difference, but it compounds. Kevin maximizes his employer's 401k match. That's $1,800 a year his employer adds for free. James left that money on the table. In year 2, Kevin buys a small property, not a dream home. A 2-bedroom 40 minutes from the city. He rents 1 room. That rental income covers 60% of his mortgage. Kevin is not smarter than James. Kevin is not working harder than James. Kevin just aimed his discipline at the system instead of against it. Year 10. James's net worth, $23,000, a decade of perfect discipline, a decade of skill building. $23,000. Kevin's net worth, $89,000, same income, same $400 a month, same 10 years. The difference, $66,000, not because Kevin was luckier, not because Kevin was more talented, because Kevin understood what the game actually rewards. The game does not reward skill, the game rewards. So why does "it's a skills problem" keep working? Why do people hear it, nod and go sign up for another course? There are 3 reasons. They are not accidents. Reason 1, the fundamental attribution error. Psychologists have a name for what Bezos is doing. When something goes wrong in someone else's life, we instinctively blame their character, not their circumstances. He failed because he's lazy. She's poor because she made bad choices. They didn't succeed because they lacked skill. This is called the fundamental attribution error. It is one of the most documented biases in human psychology. Billionaires didn't invent it, they just learned to weaponize it. When Bezos says skills, he is activating a bias that already exists inside your head. You do the rest of the work for him. Reason 2, the invisible rule book. When Bezos says skills, he means skills. Inside a system where capital gains are taxed at 20% and labor income is taxed at 37%. He never mentions the rule book. He just tells you to play harder. The rule book says, money that works earns more after tax than people who work. That is not a natural law. It is a policy choice made by people who own capital, enforced by a tax code their lobbyists helped write. Skills help you earn more labor income. They do not change which side of that tax line you stand on. Reason 3, survivorship bias. Bezos did build something from relatively little, and he succeeded. But for every Bezos, there are 10,000 people with identical drive, identical intelligence, identical work ethic, who did not make it. We never hear their names. They didn't write memoirs. They didn't get invited onto Squawk Box. When Bezos says, "I started with nothing and built this," he is showing you a sample size of 1 and presenting it as a universal rule. Statisticians have a name for this too. It's called survivorship bias. You're not seeing the failures. You're only seeing the wall the successful ones. Here is what Jeff Bezos is not wrong about. Skills matter. They matter enormously. They determine how much labor income you can earn. They determine your options, your resilience, your ability to adapt. Do not stop learning. Do not stop building. But understand what skills actually are. Skills are a ladder, and a ladder only works if it's leaning against a wall. For decades, someone has been quietly moving the wall. Higher home prices, stagnant wages, a tax code that favors assets over effort, a system that extracts from those who work and compounds for those who own. James kept climbing the ladder. Kevin found the wall. The difference was not talent. The difference was one question. Am I working hard inside this system, or am I learning how this system actually works? 3 things you can do this week. First, find out your employer's 401k match. If you're not maximizing it, you are leaving free money on the table this week. Log in, find the number. Second, check the interest rate on your savings account. If it's below 1%, move it. High-yield accounts paying 4 to 5% take 10 minutes to open. That is 10 minutes between the system working against you and the system working for you. Third, the next time someone tells you the problem is your skills, ask one question. What are the rules of the game I'm playing? Because Jeff Bezos is not playing the same game as you. He is playing a game where the rules were written, before you were born, by people who made sure they would win. That is the quiet theft. It doesn't announce itself. It just tells you to work harder. And now you know where to look. If nobody has ever explained this to you this way before, that is not an accident. Subscribe, because this